everybody. Thank you so much for your excellent conversations. It was really thoughtful. I was super fortunate to be able to walk around the room and actually listen to each of the groups. And I really wish everyone had that opportunity because the conversations were really rich and thoughtful, and people were really trying to kind of think about what challenges they face in really equitable recruiting, as well as coming up with good solutions. So we're going to take a few minutes so that those folks who weren't able to hear the different comments will be able to hear from each group. So I guess we'll start with the first group with Dr. Wilson and Dr. Adeshina. Would you mind sharing with us really kind of maybe your three kind of central themes, challenges, and then the solutions you all have?
Absolutely. So as far as challenges, I'll just kind of recap because there aren't that many. We identify challenges in faculty diversity, challenges in regional and geographic presentation, challenges in representation on social media, creating like a caution with how we're displaying our program to avoid tokenism and promoting greater transparency of how life really is in the program. And there were challenges in DEI support from the institutional level, and we know those challenges are often funding and financial and other support otherwise. Then this last point here is just differences in climate between the hospital system and the academic side of your institution. Challenges in implementing and updating the recruiting process, such as like applicant scoring. Challenges in showcasing unforeseen aspects of diversity, so like economic diversity, first generation, like those aren't things that are visible, readily visible, and might not be able to display those appropriately on the website. And then the last two are just links between visiting clerkship and the residency interview process, the minority tax work, burdening the same individuals with DEI efforts, and then understanding the needs of URIMs, and to identify the program's blind spots. And these boil down into a couple of themes. Those themes were buy-in, follow through, messaging, funding and support, always an issue, visibility, institutional culture, and the maturity of our institution's DEI efforts. And then finally, as far as like strategies, we came up with a handful of those. And some of the strategies that we came up with were having the hospital or health system help like their more centralized social media accounts or displaying these things from multiple aspects within the health system. And then an informational packet with personal stories, a diversity spotlight, mentoring or linking populations that are underrepresented or affinity groups like SMMA, LMSA, APAMSA, linking and mentoring, creating greater linkages with mentoring in those populations and advertising to those. And then finally, incentives, so financial or tenure and promotion incentives to participate in DEI efforts.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson, and the pre-interview team for really some great solutions. You're going to hear as you go through some similarities in the groups for sure. If the interview group would like to tell us kind of, I know it was a large group. So Dr. Turner, do you want to share with us kind of what your group discussed?
Definitely. Okay, so not only probably going to hear four similarities, we briefly hit on some of the challenges, but one that we noticed was the cost of travel, and we kind of mentioned, okay, virtual interviews that may help a bit with that. Don't have to worry about that as much. So we didn't include this as a major challenge, but I still wanted to mention it. Also, overcoming the reputation of your geographic region. Some may not be advertising as others, but having to really overcome that may be difficult depending on what demographic you want to
one of the things that like comes to mind, I kind of the thread through all of them is intentionality, right? Like intentionality kind of in the pre-interview or the interview as well as the post-interview, really being intentional about finances, intentional about recruiting, intentional about social media. We're going to move on to Dr. White, who's going to kind of go on. Sorry, Dr. Wilson, I apologize.
Perfect. So, can I change this? So, we wanted to take an opportunity and share with you all some of the strategies that we use at our program that were implemented well before I was there. So, thank you all very much for recruiting me into this environment. Here are the top 10 things that we've done in our program. First, we have promoted DEI on our residency website. We find that that's a way to kind of like showcase and highlight a lot of the efforts that you're doing. We also use that as a means, a mechanism to highlight the faculty and residency, resident diversity. Again, as with the website, there's increasing your presence on social media and displaying very diverse aspects of your program on social media. Incorporating a DEI chief resident is another strategy that we've used. We have 2 iterations of a DEI chief resident, and this resident's sole role is to promote and to work with our DEI committee and to make sure that we're highlighting DEI efforts within our program. And this speaks to that aspect of being intentional. Like if you really want DEI to be a mission of your program, we can make a resident in a leadership role for residents who are looking for leadership opportunities to have that space within your residency leadership. Creating a URIM scholarship. This is something that came up in our group as well, that there might be some challenges in how fluid that scholarship is, but the presence of having that scholarship is a way to tie your financial resources to your actual priorities. Create DEI mentorship. So have a way for people, the URIMs that are, and the GMs that are rotating within your program, having a way to link those individuals with people in your program that are going to help them through the application process. So, don't just have them come and visit and leave for their visiting clerkship, but have a way, someone to connect them to help them through that application cycle as they're applying. Increase presence at residency fairs, so SNMA, LMSA, other interest group specific residency programs and residency fairs throughout the country. Those would be a way to show that your program is committed to recruiting these populations by actually showing up at those events and interacting with the populations that we're attempting to recruit. And then hosting resident social series. So we do this at Baylor, where we have Zoom nights where we allow the residents to interact with candidates and kind of portray a more personable and behind the scenes kind of aspect of the insight into the culture of the program, which I think is definitely a challenge for SGMs and for your IMs in medicine. Is like, how do we know that we fit in the program if all we're seeing is those things on the website? Well, having a Zoom series where you're actually able to interact with the residents is a great way to kind of put that, make that connection. And then the last 2, create a DEI committee. I know that this kind of seems like a foreign concept for some, but having the department kind of make that commitment to having a DEI committee or a task force is a way to kind of show that we are moving in. This is an important priority for our department, and we're wanting to put our money where our mouth is in our efforts and really have some leverage behind what we're doing. And then finally, showcasing resident professional development. So Ben and I are residents, and we are invited to participate in this project and to present on a national level. And what a great way to showcase opportunities for future residents by showing that, we are showcasing our residents, we're incorporating our residents into our research efforts and to our leadership development. We're committed to having a place for you and to training you up in this. I know that was a lot. You guys probably didn't remember that. So what we've put together is a QR code with these 10 points here, and you can scan that QR code and take these home with you. It's also in the slides on the app.